I'd love to hear a little bit about the experience of learning in this high volume party environment. Is this something
Mm.
where you kind of came up with this process in working with them, or is that something you learned it and then expanded upon it? Or tell me how that kind of came to be.
Oh, that's a great question. I was super lucky to be in an environment. We had a work team. We loved each other and we were always trying to figure out how to make things better. And when I first got on site, we thought we were doing the guest service thing. So we were just putting parties wherever they wanted to go. And with birthdays, you got to get good at those are real consistent and you do the same kind of event over and over again. And my manager charged me with making it more less chaotic, if you will.
Or
And so,
systematic?
yeah, and so
Mhm.
we built a process and we had waves of parties. And it was kind of like going to the doctor. That
Hmm.
first wave would kick off good, and then we'd get just a little further behind and a little further behind, and it worked better. And we wound up having more parties and it was less chaotic. It was still pretty stressful. It's stressful on the host and stressful on kitchen and even
Hmm.
operations. So we broke that apart. And I wished I could say I came up with the idea, but really and truly, I did not. I had a party team of about, I don't know, always between 19 and 21 party hosts. Okay. And
Wow.
I went to the team and I said, hey, this gets stressful, right? After the first wave. And what we did is we broke it apart and we have this two-team system. And it was unbelievable because we could give more time between parties and wound up being able to have more waves of parties. So what I mean is we had a team and we could hold 5 parties at a time. We put 5 parties out on the lanes and we had host 1 through 5 and we didn't have party rooms, we had party spaces.
Mm.
And so we assigned host 1 to party space and
Mm.
they had their pizza time. I mean, and then there was the B team. And so literally, if my bowling was 11 to 12 and I was 1A, and my room space then is noon to 1, then party B could come 30 minutes after me, and there would only be 30 minutes of downtime as the party A growl. I would reset
Mhm.
so party B could come straight into it. They would reset it for me. And I mean, it just worked like a machine. And
Mm.
everybody then had time in between their parties to go to the restroom, have a snack, have a fight with their boyfriend, whatever. And
Right.
like I say, I wish that had been my idea. I codified it, like I got it in the schedule, and then we just plug and played, and we were really able. We didn't quite double the number of spaces where we could have parties, almost.
Wow.
And it was crazy. It was a lot less chaotic. Neil got us another pizza oven because that was one of the missing pieces. We couldn't pump out pizzas to the public
Mm.
and to our
Yeah.
parties because we increased the party so much. But he had great vision and he's, let's just get another oven. So
Right. Yeah.
nobody ever asked me about that.
No, really.
That's such a fascinating question. And
Yeah.
if it didn't make great sense, it's all those systems are designed in lots of different ways. If you want to use party space first, you want to use attractions first, or if you have 3 spaces or 5, we have all of that in our like online. We have spreadsheets in our express training, and we also have a
Mm.
birthday book,
Yeah.
building great birthdays, and it's all documented there on our website. And you can just download the book if you want, even.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you do, I guess, sales for the parties too, right? Helping them close the
Yeah.
sales or like the sales system.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we do a lot of marketing. We're very good at getting people to sign up for the parties, but sometimes depending on the center, it can be chaotic once some of them are great, but some of them are just busy doing other things. It sounds
Right.
like you have a pretty good system in place for handling that because that's a big piece I've seen.
We do. So we're real high. I mean, the lady who wrote People Buy from People, I still got to admit that I'm real high on having an online party reservation system because that
Yeah.
can create consistency. But we have what we lovingly refer to as the BDSQF, so the birthday sales qualification form. And even in selling group sales, any kind of sales, I think there's a specific process that if you follow it, it's sales made easy, closings a foregone conclusion, and it creates consistency and care. People don't buy from you because of what you sell. They buy from you
Mhm.
because of what they need.
Right.
And so often salespeople come at a purchase by just being transactional. And I think that's what can happen in those centers who are busy and don't have that sales process. So we believe you have to connect with people first. And even if it's something as simple as saying, gosh, I'm so glad you called us. We have the best parties in town. It's a great connector because any kind of parent or grandmother or uncle or dad, they want to know that they're taking their kid to the place that they're going to have the very best birthday party in town. And then you inquire. I always like to say, are you planning for a child or an adult? Because almost all the time it's a kid, but I love to plant the seed for an adult. So every 40-year-old dude needs to have their over the at the ball center, right?
Absolutely.
And then we ask about their age. We use the child's name. Like all those things are very connecting. The second step is qualification. So that's what all those questions are about. And then you can propose. So most of the time, my experience is somebody calls and says, hey, can you tell me about your birthday parties? And we just start pitching. Right. And that's really not the best way to do it. You want to connect, you want to qualify, then you can propose, and then you have to ask them for the order. I can't tell you how many times somebody's done a real friendly, good job about telling me what they have, but they never asked me to buy their stuff. Right. And our favorite closing line is, for us, of these 3 packages, which do you think Tommy and his friends would love the most? Right. I even had a dad tell me one time, he's going to want that big fancy package, but he's getting the middle one. And I said, oh, yes, sir, I'll book that for you. But you know, your wife's going to call me back or she's going to ask you to call back and booking the big one. It is his birthday. Oh, you're right. Book that big one. But by the time and listen, we've secret shopped and everybody thinks I can hand that script to people and we can work on it. And they're like, well, that's going to take 20 minutes. It doesn't. It takes about an average of 6 minutes. We've secret shopped thousands of people where we put them in this system. And when they do it, it takes an average of 6 or 7 minutes. It may then take a few minutes to take a deposit and things like that, but it's a system that works. It works well. When people get that training, we see their close ratios go up from 35% to 70%. Wow. Yeah. Can you imagine? Huge. It's really big. The most viewed video, except for the time I did a cartwheel at Bowl Expo, the most viewed video on the YouTube TrainerTainment channel is bad call, good call. So it shows it done poorly and then it shows it done the correct way. Yeah. And so it's free out there and it's a great it's a great training tool to use for your team. That's amazing because, again, coming from the marketing side, you're spending the same amount for those leads, whether they close 35% or 70%. Or 70%. You doubled your ROI with the same exact marketing spend just because of a conversation. That's right. That's got to be very frustrating in your point of view if you're able to fill their lead bucket, but they're unable to. If you're just treating it as a transaction, you're leaving money on the table because you could upsell, because you could learn more about getting them adult food or extra lanes and stuff like that. And then if it's just transactional, your close ratio is going to be half of what it could be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's if they even make the call at all. Sometimes they're so busy they don't even get back to people for a week, and they're like, "Sorry, I booked somewhere else." They're going to go book somewhere else. Yeah. You know what we found? What we found is that when we started secret shopping people, the first big increase came from getting the phone answered. That more often than not, the phone wasn't getting answered, and so they were calling somebody else. So yeah, they've done studies with 5 minutes. If you can respond within 5 minutes, it's a 90% higher chances of it's a chart. It's a huge drop off after 5 minutes, but even people want a response quickly. Otherwise, they go. They do. Else. We're in that age, right? And that's how come I think you have to compete. You have to have an online reservation system as well, because if you don't, and they find somebody who they're going to make it easy on themselves, right? And and then if they do call you, please don't say, "Have you been to our website?" Because they would not have called you if they didn't want to talk to you. Right. So don't irk them. Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.